This story is titled, My Brother Got My Fiancée Pregnant. Now my family begs for forgiveness, but I walked away. Hi, everyone. Before we dive a quick favor. If you enjoy content like this, please hit the subscribe button. It's free. Supports the channel and make sure you never miss out on amazing video. Alright, let us get started. Brother got my fiancée pregnant before our wedding. Now my family wants me to forgive them. I told them to F off and moved away. This is gonna be a long one. And yeah, it's just as insane as it sounds. I'll do my best to keep it short, but there's a lot to unpack here. Honestly, I don't care if anyone believes it or not. It's so ridiculous I just needed somewhere to vent. I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. I'll leave out the super specific details, just in case someone who knows the situation stumbles across this. I'm 32 years old. Up until a few months ago, I was engaged to my girlfriend of 5 years. Let's call her Sarah. My younger brother, Mike, he's 29, has always been the golden boy in the family. And to really understand just how deep this betrayal cuts, you need a little background on how my family operated. Growing up, Mike could do no wrong. Meanwhile, I got blamed and punished for just about everything, no matter how small. And this wasn't your typical mom loves little brother more kind of thing. It was blatant, and it was brutal. Mike would break something, I'd get grounded. Mike would pick a fight, I'd be the one sitting in timeout. If we both came home with straight A's, Mike got a new game system while I got a half-hearted good job and a pat on the back. Our parents, Tom and Linda, always had some excuse ready. He's younger, he needs more attention. You're the older one, you should know better. Mike's more sensitive, we have to be gentle with him. The endless gaslighting chipped away at me until I felt like a ghost in my own house. As we grew up, the favoritism only got more obvious. When I got accepted into a good college, partial scholarship and all, my parents barely blinked. When Mike decided to attend a local community college, they threw him a massive party and bought him a car. Meanwhile, I was pedaling 5 miles each way to my part-time job on an old bike. I got out of that house as soon as I could, worked 2 jobs, took out student loans, and made my own way through school. Mike? He dropped out after 1 semester. Said college wasn't for him. And of course, Mom and Dad cheered him on like he was some kind of free spirit. They even funded a handful of his business ventures, all of which crashed and burned. No matter how far I tried to distance myself, somehow, my family always managed to drag me back into their mess. Holiday dinners were a disaster. Subtle digs, not so subtle comparisons. Oh, still at that entry-level job? Mike's thinking about starting another business. He's so entrepreneurial. Never mind that I was building a stable career while Mike was draining their retirement savings. Despite all that, I tried to keep a relationship with Mike. He was still my brother, after all. But it was always one-sided. I'd reach out, try to hang out, and he'd either ghost me or turn everything into a competition. If I got a promotion, he'd conveniently have some big opportunity coming up. If I started dating someone, he'd magically be in a relationship too. That's how I met Sarah, by the way. She was friends with one of Mike's short-term girlfriends. And man, Sarah was everything I'd ever wanted. Smart, funny, kind, and absolutely beautiful. When we started dating, it felt like, for the first time in my life, I finally found someone who truly saw me and valued me. Of course, my parents weren't thrilled. Mom made snarky remarks about Sarah being out of my league. Dad just asked what she could possibly see in me. Mike, on the other hand, suddenly got real interested. Always asking about Sarah, wanting to know everything about her. At the time, I thought it was kinda sweet. Maybe he was finally trying to connect with me. Looking back, that should have been my first red flag. Sarah and I moved in together after about a year, and life was good. Stable jobs, vacations, planning a future. For once, I thought maybe I could have it all, a career, a partner, maybe even kids someday. After 4 years, I proposed. Nothing crazy, just a quiet night at home, good food, and a heartfelt speech. She said yes. I was over the moon. We weren't rushing the wedding, we had time. We had our whole lives ahead of us. When we told my family about the engagement, their reactions were, well, mixed. Mom forced a smile and said, oh, how nice, like she was commenting on a lukewarm cup of coffee. Dad grunted, good luck, without even looking up from the TV. And Mike smiled, but there was something in that smile that made my stomach churn. Something cold and off. I brushed it off, told myself I was just being paranoid. Over the next year, things got busy. Sarah and I were working overtime, saving for the wedding and a down payment on a house. We didn't see each other as much, but that's normal in busy seasons, right? Except, Sarah started acting strange. Always glued to her phone, smiling at texts from work friends. Going out late, coming home smelling like wine and someone else's cologne. But I trusted her. I had no reason not to. Never, not once, did I imagine my own brother would be the one I should worry about. Then, about 4 months ago, Sarah started getting moody, nauseous all the time. At first, I got excited. Maybe we were having a baby. We hadn't planned it, but we had talked about it someday. I started dreaming about nursery colors, baby names. And then, one night, she sat me down, tears streaming down her face. She was pregnant, and it wasn't mine. I don't even know how to describe what that moment felt like. Like the floor dropped out from under me, like I couldn't breathe. When I finally managed to ask who the father was, she whispered, "It's Mike." My world shattered right there. Everything, our relationship, my family, my future, gone in an instant. She tried to explain through sobs. It had started during our engagement party. Mike had told her she was making a mistake marrying me. That she could do better. That he could give her what I couldn't. It wasn't a one-time mistake either. They'd been sleeping together for months. I kicked her out that night. I couldn't even look at her. She begged, apologized, cried, but all I could see was the betrayal. How many times had she kissed me, worn my ring, and lied straight to my face? After she left, I called Mike. I don't remember everything I said. It was all a blur of rage and heartbreak. At first, he tried to brush it off, said it was just a drunken mistake. When I pressed him, he got defensive. Said, "Well, maybe if you'd been a better fiancé, she wouldn't have come to me." I saw red, jumped in my car, and drove straight to his place. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, but when I got there, surprise, my parents were already there. Mike had called them first. Spun some story about how Sarah had seduced him, and he was so sorry. And of course, they believed him. They always do. My mom started preaching about forgiveness and how family comes first. Dad stood there, arms crossed, looking disappointed. At me, not at Mike. I tried to explain what really happened. They didn't want to hear it. They told me I needed to forgive Mike. Support Sarah through her pregnancy. Because family is everything. I lost it. I let years of hurt and resentment pour out. I told them exactly how I felt about their golden child and their twisted loyalty. Told Mike he was dead to me. Told my parents they could keep the son they always wanted. I was done. I stormed out, drove for hours, no destination, just trying to outrun the pain. When I finally made it home, my phone was blowing up. Sarah begging for forgiveness. Mike switching between apologies and blaming me. My parents demanding I grow up and make amends. I ignored every call. Barely ate. Barely slept. Called off work and used up all my PTO just trying to survive. It's been 3 months now. I moved to a new apartment. Changed my number. Started therapy. But my family, they won't let it go. They show up at my work. Mom corners me in the parking lot, crying about how I'm breaking up the family. Dad leaves angry voicemails telling me to man up. Mike's tried to corner me too, but so far, I've dodged him. Even extended family, aunts, uncles, cousins I haven't seen in years, are suddenly popping up, telling me to forgive and forget. It's like they're living in an alternate reality where Mike and Sarah's betrayal was just a minor mistake. And yesterday, I got a letter from Sarah. She's keeping the baby. She and Mike are raising it together. My parents couldn't be happier. They're thrilled to be grandparents now. Never mind the betrayal. Never mind what they did to me. Sarah had the nerve to say she hopes we can all be friends for the sake of the child. I'm at my breaking point. Part of me wants to leave this town, this state, start over somewhere nobody knows me. But part of me wants to stay. Stay and show them just how wrong they are. I don't know what to do. I can't even think about dating again. I've lost friends over this. People who think I should take the high road. The thought of Mike and Sarah raising that baby, the baby that should have been mine, makes me sick. Yeah, I know the kid's innocent, but I can't separate the betrayal from its existence. Now my parents are trying to rope me into being an uncle. And I just can't. I physically can't. So Reddit, tell me, am I wrong for cutting off my family? Am I wrong for refusing to forgive them? I'm drowning here. Thanks for listening. Writing this out helped more than I thought it would. A few folks asked if I thought about getting a DNA test. Truth is, Sarah admitted to the affair, and the timing lines up. I don't have any reason to doubt that the kid's Mike's. Honestly, even if the baby turned out to be mine, I don't think I could ever look at that child without seeing everything they destroyed. I've been floored by how many people reached out saying they went through something similar. It's heartbreaking to realize this kind of betrayal happens so often, but at the same time, it weirdly makes me feel less alone. So, thank you all for opening up and sharing your stories. Someone asked if I thought about suing Mike for alienation of affection. I actually looked into it, but turns out that's not a thing in my state. Even if it was, honestly, I just don't have the fight left in me for a long court battle. A bunch of people pointed out that Mike's behavior sounds like textbook narcissism. I started digging into narcissistic personality disorder a little, and yeah, a lot of it fits. It doesn't excuse what he did, but at least it helps me make some sense of it. For those wondering about Sarah's family, they're as horrified as you'd expect. They cut ties with her and even reached out to me, offering support. It's a small comfort, but still, it means a lot. Someone asked if I still want kids someday. To be honest, after all this, I'm not sure. I'm trying not to make any huge life decisions while my head's still spinning. But yeah, it's something that's weighing on me. I'll update you if anything big happens, but for now, my focus is just on healing and moving forward. Thank you again, Reddit. You have no idea how much your encouragement, advice, and just plain kindness have meant to me through all this. I might not reply to every comment, but know I read them all and they've been a real lifeline. Hey Reddit, it's been about 2 weeks since I posted, and let me tell you, it's been a hell of a roller coaster. First off, I seriously can't thank you enough for the support and advice you all gave me. I never expected the post to blow up the way it did. Reading through your responses has been overwhelming in the best way. It's sad how many people have been through similar betrayals, but it's also weirdly comforting to know I'm not alone. The past few weeks have been brutal, though. Remember how I said I was working on getting a restraining order? Well, that turned into a bigger mess than I ever expected. My lawyer filed all the paperwork and we had a hearing lined up. I thought it'd be straightforward, given all the harassment and evidence we had. Yeah, I was wrong. My parents showed up in court with their own fancy lawyer, some slick guy in a designer suit who probably charges more an hour than I make in a week. They tried to paint me as the unstable one. Said I was tearing the family apart over a simple misunderstanding, like Mike just tripped and accidentally fell into my fiancée. Luckily, the judge wasn't buying it. She granted the restraining order against Mike and my parents, but not before my mom burst into tears and my dad stared daggers at me like I was the one who'd done something unforgivable. Mike's face, though. Man, if looks could kill, I'd have dropped dead right there. On our way out of the courthouse, Mike actually tried to rush me. My lawyer stepped right between us and reminded him about the fresh restraining order. Mike just sneered and said, "This isn't over. You can't hide behind a piece of paper forever." Yeah, I'd be lying if I said that didn't rattle me a little. But at least now, I have some legal backup. The drama didn't stop there, though. Remember how my family kept popping up at my work? Well, that finally blew up too. Last week, I was in a client meeting when my assistant messaged me, "Your mother's here. She's causing a scene." I excused myself and rushed down to the lobby, and sure enough, there's my mom, showing my coworkers old baby pictures of me and Mike, crying about how close we used to be. She was in the middle of telling some story about us taking baths together as toddlers when she spotted me. She tried to run over, blabbering about throwing a baby shower, but I stopped her cold. I told her flat out, "Leave, now, or I'm calling the cops." Her face looked like I'd smacked her. But honestly, after everything she and Dad and Mike put me through, I didn't feel a damn thing. Security escorted her out, but I still had to spend an hour smoothing things over with my boss and coworkers. Most of them understood, thank God, but I could tell a few of them were wondering what kind of mess I brought into the office. But the real kicker, that came last Saturday. I was at the gym, working out some frustration on the heavy bag. I was so into it I didn't notice anyone approaching until I heard his voice. I turned around, and there was Mike, grinning at me like a damn hyena. He started talking loud enough for everyone around to hear. I told him to leave, warned him I'd call the cops, but he just laughed and said he'd tell them I threatened him and Sarah. And that's when I snapped. I swung at him, caught him right in the jaw. He stumbled back, then lunged at me. We ended up on the floor, throwing punches like a couple of wild kids again. Only this time, there was no mom yelling at me to be the bigger person. No dad to break it up and tell me to let Mike win. We kept swinging until the gym staff pulled us apart. Mike's nose was bleeding. I had a black eye already puffing up. Both of us were shouting and trying to get loose again. The gym manager threatened to call the cops, which finally snapped me out of it. I grabbed my stuff and got the hell out of there. Driving home, my hand still shaking, my phone rang. Unknown number. Like an idiot, I picked up. It was Sarah. Screaming at me about how I broke Mike's nose and he might need surgery. I couldn't help but laugh. The fact that she was mad at me after everything they did. It was just so absurd it was funny. I told her sorry if I roughed up her little boyfriend. She started sobbing about how stressed she was, how the baby could feel her pain, how selfish I was being. I hung up and blocked her. Done. The fallout's been ugly. Word spread fast. Some friends texted me, offering support. Others, shocker, called me a bully for beating up my poor brother. Sarah's parents called me too. Told me they were disgusted with Sarah, that they still supported me. It wasn't much, but damn, it felt good to hear. As for the legal side, yeah, Mike filed assault charges against me. My lawyer said we'll fight it. Especially since Mike broke the restraining order first and provoked me. Still, I'm not gonna lie, it's stressful as hell. I had to file police reports, show pictures of my bruises, explain how I got dragged into a brawl with my own brother. On top of that, both Mike and I got banned from the gym. Permanently. It sucks. That gym was one of the few places where I felt like I could work through my rage in a healthy way. My cousin Amy, she's been a rock through all this. She stuck by me even though her parents have been giving her hell about it. She called the other night and told me some family gossip. Apparently, my parents are running around telling everyone that I'm having a mental breakdown. Nice, huh? They're running around claiming that Sarah and Mike only got together after Sarah and I had broken up, trying to paint me as some jealous guy who just can't move on. Amy told me that while most of the family sees through their lies, there are still a few who actually believe it. It's maddening, knowing they're out there rewriting the story, while I'm just trying to pick up the shattered pieces of my life. Work hasn't been much of a sanctuary either. Ever since my mom's circus show in the lobby and the brawl with Mike at the gym made it onto local social media, I can feel my coworkers treating me different, like they're walking on eggshells around me. Earlier this week, my manager called me into his office. He started out by saying he appreciated me as an employee and understood that I was going through a rough time. Then he hit me with it, said it might be best if I took a little leave until things blew over. He tried to sugarcoat it, calling it a personal sabbatical, and said it would be paid, at least. I wanted to argue. I wanted to tell him that work was the only thing keeping me even remotely sane right now. But deep down, I could tell the decision was already made. So I packed up my stuff, shook his hand, and thanked him for understanding, even though it felt like another gut punch. On my way out, I caught two coworkers whispering about how Mike got his brother's fiancée pregnant. I slammed the door harder than I needed to, just for the small satisfaction of seeing them jump. Small victories, I guess. I'm not going to pretend any of this hasn't gotten to me. Most nights, I find myself taking long drives just to get out of my apartment. Sometimes I end up parked outside the old place, the one Sarah and I shared, just sitting there, wondering how the hell my life got so off track. In the middle of all this mess, someone unexpected reached out, Sarah's younger sister, Emma. At first, I was suspicious. I figured it might be a setup or some new trick. But after talking to her, I realized Emma was just as disgusted by Sarah and Mike as I was. She's been keeping me updated on what's going on with them. Apparently, they've shacked up together like everything's normal, like they didn't just rip apart multiple lives to play house. Emma says Sarah's been painting herself as the victim, crying to anyone who'll listen about how she and Mike are soulmates who found each other against all odds. Makes me want to puke. But I'm thankful for Emma, because at least someone's telling me the truth. Even when it's the last thing I want to hear. Social media has been its own personal hell. I used to be a pretty private guy. Now, thanks to a friend of Mike's posting about our gym fight, I've been dragged into the spotlight in the worst way. They didn't use our names, but they didn't have to. Anyone who knows us figured it out fast. The comment section turned into a war zone. Some folks defended me, saying Mike got what he deserved. Others called me unstable and said I belonged in a padded room. One night, after way too many beers, I made the mistake of reading through the comments. That idea. I ended up chucking my phone so hard it smashed the screen. After that, I deleted most of my social media accounts. I just couldn't handle the nonstop notifications and fake sympathy from people I hadn't talked to in years. It finally hit me. I can't stay here anymore. There are just too many ghosts. Too many chances of running into Sarah, or Mike, or my parents. I started looking into job transfers, and sure enough, There's a position open in Seattle. Rainy. Yeah. But at this point, I'd move to the bottom of the ocean if it meant getting away from all this. Nothing's final yet, but man, the idea of a clean slate sounds better every day. Meanwhile, Sarah's been parading her pregnancy all over social media. Emma says she's posting ultrasound pictures, belly shots, gushy captions about how blessed she and Mike feel. Each post feels like ripping open a wound that was just starting to heal. Hey Reddit, this will probably be my last post about all of this. First, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for reading, for commenting, for caring. Y'all honestly kept me afloat when everything else was dragging me under. Now for the news. I'm moving. I accepted the transfer to Seattle. It wasn't an easy decision, but after everything, it felt like the only real choice left. Fresh start. New city. New everything. The tipping point came last week. I had just gotten back from another lawyer meeting about Mike's assault charges when I found a note in my mailbox. It was from Sarah. At first, I was going to toss it straight in the trash. But curiosity got the better of me. Inside was an ultrasound photo and a handwritten letter. She went on about how excited she and Mike were for the baby and how they hoped I could find it in my heart to be happy for them, maybe even be part of the baby's life. I saw red. I lost it. Before I even thought it through, I unblocked her number and called her. She answered, and I just unloaded everything I'd been holding back. Told her exactly what I thought of her, of Mike, of their perfect little family. Told her they could all go to hell. It wasn't my proudest moment. But damn if it didn't feel good to finally say it out loud. Right after that, I called my boss and said I wanted the Seattle transfer. He sounded relieved, honestly. Said he'd fast-track everything. By the next morning, it was official. 2 weeks to pack up and get out. Word spread fast, of course. My parents showed up at my door again, in violation of the restraining order. My mom cried about me abandoning the family. My dad raged about how I was being selfish. I didn't say a word. Just called the cops and had them escorted off the property. As she left, my mom screamed that I'd regret it. I just shut the door and kept packing. Mike didn't come himself, but he posted some self-pitying garbage on social media about rising above the hate and how some people can't stand seeing others happy. Total garbage. But seeing people like and comment in his favor still stung. Not because their opinions matter, but because it reminded me how easily people believe lies when it's convenient. Sarah's reaction, though, caught me off guard. After that phone call, she broke down, according to Emma. Realized, maybe a little too late, that what she and Mike did was unforgivable. Meanwhile, my cousin Amy's been a godsend. She's helped me pack and kept me updated on all the family drama. Apparently, my aunt, my mom's own sister, finally told her off. Said all this mess was the price they were paying for years of playing favorites. Hearing that felt like a little piece of justice. Legally, my move to Seattle won't affect anything. My lawyer's confident that with Mike's history of breaking the restraining order, we'll have a strong case. And me leaving town shows I'm no threat, which should help get his bogus assault claims thrown out too. I don't know if I'll ever post again. Maybe someday when the dust settles, I'll have a new story to tell. A better one. One that isn't about betrayal and heartbreak. But for now, it's time to put all this behind me. Fresh city. Fresh start. Fresh life. Goodbye. Reddit. Thanks for listening to a broken guy rant about his life falling apart. You helped more than you know. Take care out there. And if you're ever wondering if it's okay to walk away from the people who hurt you, it is. It always is.